Thank you for tuning in to Beastwatch News Brief at the most current and comprehensive Bible prophecy website on the internet, beastwatchnews.com. All Bible prophecy news, all the time. Stay tuned for news! The scripture reading for today is Isaiah Yeshayahu 58, verses 13 to 14. If you keep your feet from trampling the Sabbath, from pursuing your own interests on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight and the Lord's holy day honorable, and if you honor it by not going your own ways and seeking your own pleasure or speaking merely idle words, then you will take delight in the Lord, and he will make you ride upon the heights of the earth, and he will make you feast on the inheritance of your ancestor Jacob, your father. Yes, the mouth of the Lord has spoken. In Israel, Kerry has replaced his peace plan with phased proposals. Israel Hayom newspaper has claimed that U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has given up his wide-ranging peace plan and replaced it with a gradual multi-step peace plan between Israel and the Palestinian Authority. Kerry has also asked the European Union to step back from its peace-seeking efforts and follow the American plan that entails gradual work, as he wants the Israeli and Palestinian governments to establish trust between them. Kerry's change of plan is necessary, says the officials, because Israel will not accept Mahmoud Abbas's preconditions for the return to negotiations, and Abbas will not accept Israel's conditions. Under Kerry's plan, Israel and the Palestinians would enter into negotiations on core issues immediately, based on the negotiations of two states, the right of the Palestinian people to independence, and the preservation of Israel's security interests and main settlement blocks. No one really seems to know what's going on in Israel with the settlements. Housing and Construction Minister Uri Ariel of Beit Yehudi has confirmed to Army Radio an earlier report indicating that the Israeli government has instituted a de facto moratorium on the building of new homes in the disputed Jewish areas. However, it is also being reported that Israel still plans to push for those 1,100 West Bank homes. The Peace Now settlement watchdog has said plans to build 538 new homes in the northern settlement of Itamar and to legalize 137 existing units were submitted to regional authorities this week for review. The PA, meantime, says it is blocking a third Intifada and will sit with Netanyahu if he accepts the 1967 borders. The Ramallah-based Palestinian Authority is doing its best, it says, to block a third Intifada. Nabil Sha'ath added that the PA has lowered its expectations of preconditions for talks with the Israelis, and if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that he's ready to negotiate a Palestinian state on the 1967 borders, the PA will sit down with him tomorrow. In Syria, the U.S. has finally concluded that Assad's forces have used chemical weapons. The assessment, which followed Barack Obama's demand for conclusive proof after U.S. intelligence analysts determined earlier this year that chemical weapons had likely been used, could put pressure on Washington to respond aggressively to the crossing of what Obama himself had called a red line. The U.S. has said that 100 to 150 Syrians died from those attacks, and it is said that it's going to send now military aid to the Syrian rebels. The rebels say that they need heavy weaponry, not small arms, from the U.S. The U.S. is also proposing a no-fly zone over Syria near the Jordan border. It is being estimated that a no-fly zone over that area of Syria and Jordan could cost $50 million a day. Meanwhile, Russia says that it is still unconvinced by the evidence. In Turkey, Turkish Prime Minister Tayyip Erdogan has told protesters on Friday that he will put redevelopment plans for an Istanbul park on hold until a court rules, striking a markedly more conciliatory tone after 2 weeks of fierce anti-government demonstrations. Under U.S. and world economy, stocks gyrate as U.S. economy nears crucial test, tapering. It is the word on all investors' lips these days as financial markets around the world gird for the day the Federal Reserve halts its regimen of monthly adrenaline shots for the U.S. economy. Hoping to ease the pain, the central bank has emphasized that when the time comes, it will merely start to scale back its massive bond purchases rather than summarily pulling the plug. And health care benefits are coming under the knife ahead of the ObamaCare. Spending on health benefits in service occupations and among small firms exposed to ObamaCare mandates shrank over the past year, a new Labor Department data shows. Although employers face penalties in 2014 if they fail to offer affordable coverage, this decline in spending on health benefits shows that they're finding ways to shift some of Obamacare's looming cost back to the government. Sharia Finance is still raising its ugly head in America. Here's a shocker. New York City Court approves a Sharia bankruptcy plan. For years, the news has been telling you or warning you that Sharia law is coming to America at the hands of Barack Hussein Obama, but conjecture and opinion doesn't prove anything. Legal precedence does, however, and now we've had just another continuance of Sharia financing rearing its ugly head in the United States. Thousands of technology, finance, and manufacturing companies are now working closely with the U.S. national security agencies, providing sensitive information, and in return receiving benefits that include access to classified intelligence. 4 people familiar with the process have said, "This sounds like the mafia to me, taking money for protection." These programs, whose participants are known as trusted partners, extend far beyond what has been revealed by Edward Snowden, a computer technician who did work for the NSA. The role of private companies has come under intense scrutiny since his disclosure this month that the NSA is collecting millions of U.S. residents' telephone records and the computer communications of foreigners from Google Inc. and other internet companies under court order. Well, FBI Chief Mueller has said that spy tactics could have stopped 9/11. But a senator is challenging the NSA's claim to have foiled dozens of terror attacks since then. And an insider has spoken out on the NSA spying, saying that Snowden's claims are accurate. In the IRS scandal, the FBI director has testified that he doesn't know who is leading that investigation. While testifying before the House Judiciary Committee, FBI Director Robert Mueller could not name the lead investigator in the IRS case involving the targeting of conservative groups. It is now 1 month into the investigation. Most assuredly, this means that there is no investigation. Homosexuality goes to represent the United States. The Obama administration is going to name 5 openly homosexual foreign ambassadors in its ongoing celebration of Homosexual Pride Month. On Monday, he announced the nomination of Daniel Baer as ambassador to the Vienna-based Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. If confirmed, Baer would be the first open homosexual to serve as ambassador to a multilateral institution. Next on the list is HBO executive James Costas, who, together with his boyfriend, decorator Michael Smith, fundraised over $1 million for Obama's re-election. He is expected to be named ambassador to Spain as early as this week. After that, at least 3 more homosexuals are slated to be announced as ambassador picks so that the United States can begin riding the beast. And while he's at it, Obama is introducing 3rd graders to the gay pride movement. 9-year-old twins, Zaya and Luna, have introduced Barack Obama at the White House's LGBT Pride Month celebration on Thursday. A new company in Texas is selling a precision rifle with a unique technology that allows even an inexperienced shooter to hit a target 10 football fields away. The price tag is a staggering $27,500. The company is called Tracking Point, and it describes the weapon as a smart gun with a trigger wired to the scope so that the gun won't fire until it's locked on the target that's been tagged. Set your watches. Count the minutes until the U.S. government either shuts this down or places a huge order. More under Sharia law. As Egypt begins to implement Sharia, more and more Christians will be victimized in this way, in the way that a Christian teacher in Egypt has been convicted of blasphemy. An Egyptian court has convicted a Coptic Christian teacher of blasphemy, but didn't hand down a prison sentence and only imposed a fine on her. The court on Tuesday ruled that elementary school teacher Damiana Abdel Noor had insulted Islam. It ordered that she pay a fine of $100 100,000 Egyptian pounds, that's $14,000 America. Abdel-Nur was not in the courtroom for the verdict. And the Obama administration is now considering resettling thousands of Syrian refugees in the United States as a result of the unrest and the civil war there in Syria. And on the taxpayers tab, there's going to be Muslim prayer rooms and foot baths at the San Francisco International Airport. Yes, you're going to get to pay for them to stick their butts in the air 5 times a day. Did you know that you do not have the right to see an arrest warrant, nor do you have the right to ask for one? In the Lubbock area, police came to a woman's house and they wanted to arrest her son, but she asked them a simple question, and doing so found herself behind bars. She said, "I told him I will release my son to you upon viewing your orders." Those were exactly my words. He said, "This is how you want to play?" He took 2 steps back, turned around to the officer behind him and said, "Take her." They turned me around, handcuffed me, and took me in. Yes, sirree, you no longer have any rights in the United States of America with a K. A monster wildfire in Colorado has turned deadly, killing 2 people, and the Sakurajima volcano has awakened and has sent off some powerful explosions. There's been a magnitude 6.7 earthquake off of Indonesia's Java coast, and Obama has told donors that he's going to unveil climate measures in July. Ooh, I can't wait to see what those are going to be. The U.S. Court has ruled against gene patents. The Supreme Court ruled today that companies cannot patent parts of naturally occurring genes. This is a decision with the potential to profoundly affect that emerging industry. It's a lucrative medical and biotechnology industry. The High Court's unanimous decision reverses 3 decades of patent awards by government officials. And did you know that your coffee has ground up bugs in it? Well, according to entomologist Dr. Douglas Emlin, who broke the story in a live interview, he says that most pre-ground coffee has ground up cockroaches in it. Apparently, it's not a so-secret industry secret. According to the FDA's own studies, up to 10% and often more of green coffee beans are insect-infested. According to Dr. Emlin, they can't be processed out, so they simply get roasted with the beans and ground up into them. This is Beastwatch News Daily Update. See these and other stories at beastwatchnews.com. Bible prophecy news every day except Shabbat.